free to chat. It's so cool. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster. It is so nice to see you all, and I am so excited to welcome our musical guests today, Beverley, Elliott, and Chris Nowland. I want you to know that I heard Beverley for the very first time, 15 years ago, maybe even longer, at Unity of White Rock, when we were at a United Church there on a Sunday morning. And Beverley sang, and I have never forgotten her voice, and I've never forgotten one of the songs that I actually asked her to sing again today. So just so you know, that's like, so happy that you are here. Thank you. So let's everyone stand and join as Beverley and Chris lead us in our opening song. Just sing along and have some fun. I'm choosing heaven today.
Great. Oh, there we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. There we go. There we are. Good morning, good morning. This is my partner, Chris Nowland. We are very happy to be here for the very first time. Thank you for inviting us. This is a nice, easy song. I don't know if you know it, but you'll catch on right away. Please sing with us. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today. I choose forgiveness today. I choose forgiveness today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I choose forgiveness today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. Thank you.
Do you see why I wanted to have Beverley here today? She's part of creating heaven for us today. Thank you. And thank you, Chris, as well. Good morning again to all of you. I am back after an amazing week of vacation with Walt. We went over to Hawaii and spent time playing in the Well, Walt slept and I played in the water, and it was perfect because we each got to do what we love to do. I am Reverend Rhona Segarra, and it is my pleasure and privilege to be the minister here at this amazing community of love and connection and support and fun and laughter here at Unity of New Westminster. Welcome to all of you. And if you are joining us for the first time, or you are watching on Zoom, on YouTube, now live, or YouTube sometime in the future, a very warm welcome on behalf of our community to all of you. And all of us would like to welcome you too. So we turn around and say, hi everyone, nice to see you. we would love to stay connected with you. And so if you would, please go to our website, subscribe to our newsletter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of these things make a difference in terms of those computer-generated things that bring us more likely to be found, so that our message can be shared with the entire planet. And what is our message? Well, here at Unity of New Westminster and the Unity Movement, we offer empowering ideas for full and abundant living. We draw on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom to be found in faith traditions all over the planet, that there is wisdom to be found in song and in story and in poetry and prose and plays and in our life experiences. And so we honor every person's right to choose their own life path, which is the same as their spiritual path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. We begin our service in a time of affirmative prayer as we acknowledge with gratitude that we stand and play and rest and sing on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Kakite First Nation. And we are so grateful that we can be here. And we extend that gratitude to First Nation peoples everywhere for their custody of this beautiful land. We are so grateful that we are able to join together in person and through the wonders of the technology to be reminded that there is only one power, that by whatever our understanding of the creative force that some call God, others call Allah, others call Yahweh, life, universe, the force, quantum, science, nature. But whatever name we have for that understanding, we lean into the idea that we are all part of that one, that it is one creative power, and that there is no spot that God is not, including us. And so we feel the connection of each one of us reaching out, touching the person beside us, the person in front of us, behind us. And we extend that love to each person in this room. And then we stretch and bless every person. We extend a blessing for love and peace, for healing, for fulfillment to every person on the planet. We are one. And for this knowledge, for this understanding, and for the power that we have to bless, we give thanks and say Amen. I want to read to you from a daily word from we'll get get to that in a second. Let's see if I can find my daily word. Let's read today's daily word. Today's daily word is simplicity. Simplicity. I pause to appreciate life's simplest blessings. Today I give thanks for the simplest blessings, the small things that bring a smile to my lips and a warm feeling to my heart. A hug from a friend, a cuddle from a grandchild, or stroking the soft fur of a beloved pet fills my awareness with love. The sudden lift I get seeing a favorite person's handwriting in the mail, or the thrill of spotting a rainbow after a cleansing rain, sparks lasting happiness in my heart. These things remind me that true contentment is found in life's smallest moments, the everyday treasures that comprise daily life and draw me close to God. I focus on these simple blessings and grow in gratitude for my life's many gifts. And this reading is inspired by Psalm 144, verse 15. Happy are the people to whom such blessings fall. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord. Amen. And before we invite Beverley to set the stage for us with music before meditation, I want to share that picture that you all saw, which is that Jim Cliff is 93 years old. 93 years old. Jim, you're amazing. He is watching us now, and so we're going to sing happy birthday to him. And I'm going to ask you all, if you can, to stand and turn around and face the camera, and we're going to sing happy birthday to Jim. Hi, Jim.
To you, happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you. We are blessing you today. We are blessing you today. We are blessing you. You are wonderful. Happy birthday to you. I thought you were going to kick into it.
We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we know that light shines from you wherever you are all the time. Happiest of birthdays, Jim. Go ahead.
Please join in singing this if you like. You are love, you are strength, you are forgiveness, you are love, and I can see you as you are. I am love, I am strength, I am forgiveness. I am love, and I can see me as I am. We are strength. We are forgiveness. We are love. And I can see us as we are.
Thank you. And so, as we prepare ourselves to hear today's message, I invite you to close your eyes with me, if that's comfortable for you. If it feels more comfortable and more steadying to leave your eyes open, then just let them rest gently. And take a breath. And become aware of that wonderful flow of life that breathes us in and out. And with every breath, allow your body to become heavier in your seat. With every breath, allow yourself to be supported. And just rest in this idea of the gift of stillness. Now do a quick body scan. Start at the top of your head, your face, your shoulders, and any part that feels tense or tight. Allow it to relax. Move down to your arms, your fingertips, back up to your shoulders again, a place where we carry so much tension. And then move down into your torso, your chest, your belly, your hips. Allow them all to be supported. And then feel your legs and your feet. And become aware of the connection that you have. If you are touching the ground, then with your feet. If you are seated, then with your body. And let it be a reminder that you are always supported. Today, let us focus on the power that we have to release. The power to let go. The power to choose not to carry something anymore. This power is found in our abdomen, in the parts of our body that release waste. And the question we ask is, what am I carrying that no longer serves me? What am I holding on to that is holding me down? What event, what person, what experience is acting like a weight? And what if I chose to let it be? Imagine that this experience is like a ball and chain attached to your ankle. And imagine leaning down and unlatching it, freeing your entire being and walking away. And so in the silence, I invite you to consider something that you've been hanging on to. And ask yourself the question, what can I release today to bring more good to me? What can I release today to free myself? In the silence.
The words I have to say may be simple, but they're true. Until you give your love, there's nothing more that you can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? They say it's very hard to leave behind the life you knew. But there's no other way. Now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? The words I have to say, they may be simple, but they're true. Until you give your love, there's nothing more that you can do. Love is the opening door, and love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen?
Thank you. So a story is told about two Korean War veterans who, years after the war have ended, meet up at a war memorial. And they were both POWs during this war. And at this memorial service, one person asks the other, "Have you forgiven our captors?" And this man, with anger and resentment, snaps back and says, "I have never, and I will never forgive them." To which the first person said, "It sounds like they still have you captive." This story is a powerful example of why forgiveness matters. But how many people here kind of have an allergy to the word forgiveness? Sometimes. I shared on Friday evening, David and I, my son, and I went out for dinner. We had a date, my son and I. It was cool. Anyway, I told him that I was doing a talk on forgiveness on Sunday. And his first response was, "No." And then he said, "No, people don't forgive enough." And they carry stories with them. And then they believe the stories, and their lives are miserable. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to share that, and everybody can now go home. Because that's exactly the crux of the reason that forgiveness can be so challenging and also why it's something that I'm going to ask us all to consider. Why is it so important? Well, if you think about anything where you're holding a grudge that you've been carrying with you for a while, maybe it's years old, maybe it's not quite so old. Think about what happens to you when you are in that place of anger and resentment and irritation and holding on to all of that negative energy. There are a bunch of different things that I want to share with you in terms of the consequences of doing that. They all are suffering. They all cause us to suffer. First, when we are so defined by whatever happened before, that we allow that to affect who we are today, then we are limiting our gift to the world. We are, each one of us, our own ministry. I remember saying that a few weeks ago, and all of you were like, no, I'm not a minister. But you are, each one of you, each one of us is our own walking gift to the world. And when we allow our presence to be limited because of something from our past, we are hiding our light under a bushel. Which means that we don't have the opportunity to add to the world, to add more love and more light and more joy and more laughter and more empowerment to the people around us. We also limit our appreciation for the fact that even though some horrible things may have happened to us, chances are there were some great gifts that we developed as a strategy to cope with whatever that was. And so even in the darkest, most painful experiences of our lives, there have been some nuggets of gold that we have come away with that are now able to be gifts. Of course, it also means that when we're holding on like that, we are living in a place of misery. We're living in a place where we hurt, and we're angry, and we're resentful, and everything looks like it's negative. And perhaps the worst thing of all is that the people who harmed us or hurt us may have absolutely no clue of the impact of their words or their actions. They may be completely oblivious. Or they may be aware, but they may not care. And us holding on to that anger is like us holding a hot coal, holding something where we are being burned, hoping the other person is going to feel it. And so we hang on to this self-righteous hurt, and the other person may have no clue. Nelson Mandela wrote, or said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemy. And we chuckle because we see that it's not a logical thing to do at one level, but at another level, don't we all do that? At some level, don't we actually kind of hold on, hoping the other person's going to know? It doesn't really do anything. And even if the other person does know, and they are feeling sorry and they are suffering because they've done us wrong in some way, then us holding on to the resentment just means now there's two people who are upset. We don't need to do that unless we choose to, because it is a choice. And so the idea that I want to ask you to consider today is the idea that when we forgive, we free ourselves. If you go to Wikipedia and define forgiveness, it's wordy. Forgiveness in a psychological sense is the intentional and voluntary process by which one may initially feel victimized or wronged, go through a change in feelings and attitude regarding a given offender, and overcomes the impact of the offense, including negative emotions such as resentment and a desire for vengeance, however justified it may be. The intentional and voluntary process by which one moves from being victimized and feeling victimized to shifting and changing feelings. Notice that in that definition, which is wordy, that it does not say forgiveness means forgetting. It doesn't say forgiveness means condoning or agreeing with what the person did. It doesn't say forgiveness means that you need to be best friends with them and keep them in your life. It does not mean that you have to marry them. It does not mean that you have to not marry them. Forgiveness is an internal process of changing yourself. And the best definition that I found, and it is attributed to Lily Tomlin, but I haven't confirmed that that's so. But it is attributed that Lily Tomlin said, forgiveness is giving up all hope for a different past. Isn't that profound? Because when you think about what it is that is keeping us in the place of lack of forgiveness, it's that we wish that we could change what happened. And what do we know? There are no changings of what happened. And so here are some ideas that I want to share with you about how we might move into this idea of forgiveness. The first is to distinguish between fantasy and fact. Remember several weeks ago, and I think I've actually shared this concept with you fairly often, the idea of optimistic and realistic, and in the gap is where suffering is, or expectation and what actually happened. And it's in that gap that we hurt, when we expect people to do things a certain way and they don't, that there's this gap, and that's where we find that we suffer. Well, this is essentially the same idea, that we have a fantasy that says our friends will never betray us, our spouses will never betray us, that if we work hard, that we will be rewarded. List any one of the ideas that we have, and then we say, this is how it should be. That's fantasy. Reality is that those things happen most of the time. And for generations and generations and generations, for as long as humans have been part of this planet, what is also true is that people have betrayed each other, gone to war with each other, gossiped about each other, said nasty things behind each other's back, and so on and so on. Fantasy is we all love each other and sing kumbaya and everything is always great. Reality is that's true sometimes. And what else is true is that life includes alpha and omega, the positive and the negative, the pleasant and the unpleasant, loyalty and betrayal, hurt and joy. And so, one of the ways to identify when we're in this place of fantasy versus fact is to catch yourself saying the word should. Because when you have the word should in your sentence, then that's the fantasy. That's the, walking into the sunset holding hands, which is a lovely fantasy and is true some of the time, but probably not all of the time. And then we have this fantasy that if there's a disagreement, that if we love each other, there is no disagreement. Fantasy. Reality, fact. Of course there are going to be disagreements. You're two different people, or two different groups of people, or whatever number. One of the things, we just came back from Hawaii, and we were sitting on this outdoor patio watching these people walk by. And it was magnificent to see ages and sizes and different generations all being together and different nationalities and languages. And I looked at them all and I said to Walt, look at this. We all got here exactly the same way. Each human got here in pretty much the same way. And look at how different each one of us is. It's like a miracle. And then how do we think that we take that and we say, well, we're all like-minded? Fantasy. There's no way we can all be like-minded. We may be aligned, but my mind is never going to be the same as your mind, or your mind, or your mind, or your mind. Fantasy versus fact. Distinguish between the two. And then allow for fact to be what is part of your experience. Of course they'll disappoint you sometimes. Have you not at some time in your experience disappointed someone else? Of course there will be times when they will say things that feel hurtful. Have you not had that experience yourself? And when we allow for fantasy and fact, and if there's some way that we can actually bridge the gap so that we're less surprised when the unpleasant fact shows itself rather than the fantasy, then we'll suffer less. Because when we have this fact, which is different from our fantasy, that's when we, like David said, we start making up stories. They were late, and that means they don't respect me, they don't love me, they don't like me anymore, they were doing something else with someone else. All of that stuff, all of our suffering comes after the comma. That's another name for a talk in the future. after the comma. Because what's true is they were late. We can measure that. All that other stuff is made up. And man, we suffer because of the stories we make up. And so, instead, what if we just accepted that it is true that most of the time they'll be on time and once in a while they'll be late? Most of the time they'll be happy and joyful, and once in a while they'll be miserable and kind of a jerk to be around. Most of the time and once in a while. Now we get to fantasy and fact being more aligned. And that allows us to let it go. We don't need to hang on to it. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus' longest history of teaching or stories of teaching is in the Sermon on the Mount, which is found in Matthew chapter 5. And he says this, and I always say this is my favorite Jesus teaching, so I have to be careful with that. But one of my favorites. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are on the way to court with him. Or your accuser may hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you will be thrown in prison. And of course, if you think about this and read it at face value, you can scratch your head. Like, what are you talking about? That I'm going to be thrown in prison because I am judging something. And then we remember that metaphysically, whenever we see characters and places, we respond with the words in us. So, come to terms quickly with the accuser in you while you are on the way to making this judgment. The accuser in you will happily turn you over to the judge in you. The judge will happily lock you up so that you will be in your own prison. Some of you may know I was born in South Africa, so Nelson Mandela is an inspiration to me. When he went into prison, he was 44 years old. And when he came out, he was 71. So you think 27 years, and it doesn't sound like that much, but 44 to 71, that lands for me. It wasn't much later that he was the president of the country that had imprisoned him. And he said, again, I quote, "As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison." If I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison. Does that mean that we shouldn't feel the anger, the upset, the hurt? Absolutely not. Of course, if someone does something that betrays us or harms us or hurts us, of course. Please don't let this be, I didn't hurt. But let the hurt happen. And then don't let it be something where it continues to harm you. The hurt is a one-time thing. The harm is what we do to ourselves, keeping it alive. So how do we do this? First, turn the other cheek, frame it differently. When someone has hurt you in some way, take a moment and ask yourself when you've done the same thing to someone else. Chances are you have. Maybe not to the same degree. And then ask yourself, what would I have wanted as a loving response when I screwed up that way? And am I willing to do that now? Am I willing to do unto the other as I would have hoped that they would have done to me? Next, find the blessing. What is it about that situation that ended up being a catalyst or a catapult for me? So that I said, no, I don't accept this, I'm going to do something else. Or I'm going to show you, or I'm going to develop this skill, and you become really good at it. Find the blessing. Perhaps the hurt we experience has done nothing more than to help us understand how we don't want to behave. Well, even that's a blessing. If there was abuse in your past, you know that you do not want to do that to anyone else. That is a blessing. It helps to think of it in terms of the clarity that you've gained because of the misery you suffered. And then, focus forward. You can't move forward effectively when you have one eye in your rearview mirror. Notice in the story that there's nothing about the accuser itself. You know, Jesus' thing, it's all about you will be sent to the judge, you will be sent to jail, you will suffer. There's nothing about what happens to the accuser. And I think there's some wisdom for us to know about that. We don't know what happened. We don't know when somebody has done something hurtful to us. It's not really our business to know where they are anymore. The person who cheated on you may be now happily married with a new family. Or they may have gone through several relationships and still be miserable. None of our business. The person who climbed over you on the corporate ladder may be president of the company, or they may have been fired. Doesn't matter. The friend who lied about you may seem popular and have a group of friends that they just look like they're having the time of their lives, or they may have lied about someone else and been found out and everyone has turned away from them. Doesn't matter. The part that matters is that it has nothing to do with you. Hard as it may be, try and get that it's not personal. And try and get that your definition of who you are need not be dependent on somebody else's opinion. Let me say that again because it's key. Your definition and understanding and love for yourself need have nothing to do. In fact, we want it to have nothing to do with someone else's opinion. Self-referenced. So I hear that there could be some yeah buts. And the one that comes to mind is, yeah, but I'll look weak. If I let them get away with it, I'm going to look weak. Well, guess what? They've already gotten away with it. Now, if you hook into them then you're the one who's not getting away. So, unhook. Unhook. Let them get away. Why? Because it actually takes more strength to do that, to stand up and redefine yourself without that experience in your life. You keep your power, you keep your stature, you keep your sense of who you are. And Jesus was asked by Peter, how many times should I forgive my brother when he sins against me? 7? And Jesus said, 7 times, I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times. This is all to do with the idea of keeping who you are in integrity. Unhook, unlatch. This way you won't be a victim, but a victor. It means that you're not going to let that past situation carry you and allow you to define who you are in the present. Think, if you're still having difficulty, about the idea that the best thinking that you've had, carrying this weight around, has gotten you to where you are now. What does it cost to just say, nah, I don't even need to think about that in my life anymore? That's what I'm encouraging you to consider. And so, distinguish between fact and fantasy. Keep your fantasies, but allow for the facts. And they don't mean that we need to completely separate. And at times it may be that that's exactly what it means. But we do it from a place of intention and calm and selfhood, rather than from a place of anger. Challenge the story. Ask yourself whether it's a story that we've made up and whether we need to believe it. If peace isn't there, take time to be still, question your thinking. What other idea could add more peace? Remember that from our birthday song? Putting the principles to work. This is that exact principle. Feel your hurt. It hurts. Frame it differently. When have I done this or something similar? Find the blessing. As a result of that, am I more compassionate? Am I more empathetic? Am I more gentle? Focus on forward. We don't need to keep our eye in the rearview mirror. And in this way, we free ourselves so that we can be the blessing to the world that we are. There is freedom in forgiveness. I invite you to consider it. Freedom in forgiveness for all of us. I bless you. I'm going to ask Beverley and Chris to come up and sing this song that I remembered from many years ago, just because it's cool.
Thank you so much. That was such an incredible talk this morning. Thank you. I loved it. Loved it. Needed to hear it. I wrote this song with a friend several years ago, and I am just so pleased that you wanted to hear it again. Thank you. And Chris learned it especially for today.
Thank you, Chris.
It's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way that it should. It's all good, it's okay. That's what I tell myself today. When I'm lying in my bed and I'm lying in my head, I'm putting all my faith in something knocking me around. I'm scared, I'm kinda lonely, going crazy in my mind. I'm walking around in circles, disappointed half the time. But it's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way that it should. It's all good, it's all fair. That's what I say when I'm scared. And my baby girl is crying, saying, Mama, what went wrong? There's a siren out my window, I can't stand it that he's gone. And my mama called on Friday and I haven't called her back. She's looking for some answers, she wants me to tell her that it's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way that it should. It's all good, it's okay. I have to tell myself today, it's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way they say it should. It's all good, it's okay. I tell myself each day, well, are we winning, are we losing, are we really keeping track? When the whole world is crying, can we find our way back? And I'll go to church on Sunday and I'll get down on my knees. I'll bow my head to Jesus and I'll try to believe. It's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way that it should. It's all good, it's all fine. It's just a clock that ticks to its own sense of time. It's all good, it's okay. I tell myself today, it's all good, it's all fair. I say that it helps me when I'm scared. It's all good, it's all good, oh yeah. It's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way it should. It's all good, it's all good, it's all happening the way it should.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Moira?
Please join us for Zoom every Monday for our weekly prayer meeting. We check in with each other, rest, and renew ourselves with a guided meditation, and we read the names of the people on our prayer list. If you would like your name added to the prayer list, or you want to add someone's name to the list, then please fill in a prayer request slip and place it in the offering basket, or send us an email, or submit a prayer request on our website. We leave the names on our list for 2 months, then we forward the names to Silent Unity, which is Unity's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week prayer vigil and phone line, located at Unity Village near Kansas City, Missouri. And today is the last Sunday of the month, the day we celebrate the month's birthdays with cake and a potluck lunch. So please plan to stay after the service for food and friendship. There's always plenty to share, and the food is always delicious. And just a reminder that there will be no creative cafe and karaoke session today. Our next session will be the last Sunday in May 28th. And we are grateful for your gifts which support our ministry. Many of our community contribute with pre-authorized payments. So if you're not adding anything to the basket, please bless it silently as it passes you. As we sing our blessing song, please bring to mind something you're grateful for. We are so blessed.
Okay, we're going to sing this one live for you today. Please join us. We know that you know it. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Thank you.
And aren't we blessed? Aren't we blessed by this amazing community, by this wonderful music? Thank you, thank you. And thank you to all of our tech team for being here, for Lyle and Cliff, for our greeters, for the people working in the office behind the scenes, for Maxine, who cleans here diligently every week, and for all of you for being here and being a part of your community, our community. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful, beautiful community. So here's the thing. I go away for the first time since before the pandemic. And I put my phone onto airplane mode. And I get off airplane mode, landing in Honolulu, sunshine, sea, ocean, open my texts. And it's a text from Richard to say that Cliff fell off a ladder. And what he was doing was preparing our windows and by removing the blinds and stuff for our latest project. So, Cliff, I'm really glad you're feeling better. And I'm feeling bad about having not been here, as if it would have made any difference, which it wouldn't. And I extend heart to Lyle and to Barb and to Richard, who were here in one form or another, witness to it, because that's such a traumatic experience as well. So thank you. Thank you for just breaking your arm. I mean, and I'm going. It did. It gave everyone a chance to help Cliff out, which is really great. And I'm going away for the next 2 Sundays, so don't move. And take a look at these amazing windows. So while I was away, we got something not very pleasant happening with Cliff, but look at these brand new windows that got put up in our fellowship hall, each of the offices, the space downstairs where the children play, and it's just like a breath, literally a breath of fresh air. So thank you to all who voted to have these windows installed. We are truly blessed, because what a difference it made, even the other day, to just flip open the windows and feel the breeze come in. It was amazing. So thank you for all of your intention to make that happen. And then, yes, and thank you, Linda McIntosh, for the gift. And then, on Friday afternoon, as if that wasn't enough, the painters finally arrived and painted the Medicine Wheel Labyrinth. So it all of a sudden just came to life as well. And so I want to honor Lyle for the work that he did in planning and preparing that. And Alexandra and Lyle, who got a grant together, worked to get a grant from the city of New Westminster. And plants have been planted, we're getting signs made, and then we'll figure out a time when we will dedicate the space and learn about the purpose of how to use this medicine wheel as a place of reflection and inspiration. Isn't that great? It's so unique and wheelchair accessible, so it's really amazing. Anyway, so I am so blessed. We are so blessed. Let's join hands, and shall we do circle? It's Gladys, your call. You're the person who I don't want to feel like we're leaving you out. Shall we just, let's hold hands across the aisles. It'd be easier, I think. Yeah. As we sing our peace song and our I am the light of God. And then please stay for food. Let us bless the food now. Bless this bunch as we enjoy our lunch. Amen, amen. Done, done, done. Here we go. Sing the song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace be with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Yeah, you'll like this. I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power of God. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Woo, have a great week, everyone. I'm like, just make a decision.